Okay. Hit me with your three big tips that you could leave the listener with to shoot better content. I know we talked about one. We have anticipate the shot, right?
Yeah.
I think that comes with spending more time around each team.
That's why, I said like warm-ups aren't very important, but if you're new to this stuff or you want to be great at it, warm-ups are very important because you get the timing down of these guys. And like, I remember from shooting the NBA to shooting like a high school team, it is just like these guys are completely different, obviously, right? But the timing of it is what's so different. And the level of play at the G League is way faster than the NBA. So they're running like way, they're just going bam, 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 And in the NBA, some of the play depends on what team you're playing is slowed down a little bit. They're running the clock down.
Totally.
A lot more, a completely different pace. And that's hard to get your timing down with, especially if you're pulling focus. So that's tough. And I started pulling focus my second year because I was shooting from freaking like just the top of the Staples Center, and it kept rack focusing on the bleachers from behind because I was up so high because I was kind of shooting down at them, and I was like, I'm never gonna miss a shot ever again. I'm gonna figure this out. And I missed so many shots pulling focus, but I am crispy at
you
pulling
are
focus.
So nice at it.
Especially with basketball because it's so fast, and ball tracking too. Like, you got to keep the ball in the center. It looks like shit if you don't, and it looks like shit if the ball goes out of the frame. It's like my biggest pet peeve. It's like, especially if you're filming, say you're filming a player walking, like headroom, it's important. Don't cut off their head. Little things like that, and like the ball specifically, like it makes me so mad when I miss a ball track. I'm like, I'm not sending this. This isn't good. It's just not. It's not good. And it's crazy when you're on the floor. It's way harder to track the ball than it is if you're like up 5 rows, because I kind of have a pretty solid idea of where the players are at on the court. But when you're on the floor, sometimes you're blocked by people, and if a guy walks in front of you, it's like, and they swing a pass, it's like, damn it, I missed the ball, and then you miss the play. So you really got to be paying attention and have an understanding of the game that you're playing. And I wasn't the biggest sports fan when I got that job, but it's made me learn so much about basketball because I want to be better at what I'm doing. And now I know a lot about basketball. And like, I'll give you like one example of this. If AD and LeBron are on the court and they're more towards the middle, like where the free throw line's at, and I see AD set a pick and LeBron gets by on the left and AD's on the right, and there's one defender right there, it's a lob to Anthony Davis, baby, and I'm getting that shot because I know it's coming and I'm ready for it. I'm like, oh, there's the ball's gonna fly. And alley-oops and putback dunks, those are like some of the hardest plays to capture, because especially if you're zoomed in and you're tight, you don't know where the ball's gonna so I'm already anticipating going up with them already, and I land it, and same with like the threes. If you have the corner of your eye, you're like, oh, okay, like back in the day, KCP, he's in the corner. I'm like, okay, if it starts going around the wheel, I'm like, I'm ready for the corner three from KCP. So I'm like anticipating that swing. So I'm already kind of like cheating a little bit, shooting, more towards the corner. Little things like that really make your stuff better.
Absolutely. And
make it stand out.
Hit me with another tip.
Okay. Number 2, stay on the shot longer than you think. In college, I used to always just touchdown end.
Yeah.
And I missed so much stuff.
Yeah.
Most of the best,
you're missing those touchdown sellies?
No, I know. I know, right? But now it's like, my boss at Oregon told me this and it stuck with me. He's like, always shoot 5 to 10 seconds longer than the play, or longer than when you're about to press stop, 5 to 10 seconds.
That's a great tip.
Yeah. And he's like, always right when you're about to do it, just be like, okay, 5-10 seconds. Let's chill out real quick. Let's just see what happens. And you can feel the momentum and the energy, right? So it's like, okay, I'm good. And then you press end and you're good. No harm, no foul. Maybe a little bit of extra storage, you'll survive. But that single tip has gotten me some of my favorite and best shots. And it's not because the action that happened, it's because the reaction after. Or like, I remember this specific play this year, like LeBron hit this shot, this crazy tomahawk dunk, and I was on the floor and he was like, I'm that motherfucker. And I was like, let's go, dude, come on. And I was like, yeah, let's go. But I was right there. Like but that shot doesn't happen if you stop.
Yeah.
And you missed a whole moment that's like embedded in history.
Yeah.
Which is, and you could like, I missed the biggest Russ dunk this year. And I was so pissed at myself because I was editing a video, and this happens a lot, specifically with the Lakers. I don't know if other teams, we're editing the stuff live, and that's how we're able to get it out so fast. But when that happens, sometimes you miss stuff. And I saw Russ at the top of the key at a timeout. And I'm like, there's no way like anything happens right here. It was a timeout. I'm like, there's no dunk that's gonna happen. Maybe a 3, a drive, layup, whatever. And I see him get by a guy, and I go, oh God, it's Russ and Rudy Gobert. And I'm like, oh, Russ is flying. I'm like, oh my God. And then like I was just watching it because I was so mesmerized by what just happened. And then I whipped out the camera and I got his reaction. It was a really sick reaction. So I sent off the reaction because I was editing. That's tough, but that happens. And you just got to try and get the next one.
Yeah, I feel like you're never going to get everything.
No. And that was that's a weird game that I'd play with in my head. I'd be like, I want to get every shot tonight. It would never happen because you'd be doing something or like you have a different duty to fulfill. And another one, I think, make that reel the best, baby. Work on it, dude. Add to it. Change it.
Besides a reel being too long, is there maybe something you see between like an amateur reel and someone who's been in the game for a minute?
Absolutely. Focal lengths. Amateur reels look like they're all shot at 24 or all shot at 15 or whatever. Usually always look like they're at one focal length. They usually don't have sound design. They also usually have a bad color grade. The lighting is usually poor. And like a lot of the times if they're shooting at a day game, which sucks if you get a noon game, that's just tough. But backlight your subject. Like work with what you got, you know? Try and make it look as pretty as possible. Don't front lit a subject when the fucking sun is at 2 p.m. just directly above them. It makes them look, the sun's in their eyes. They look silly, So try and backlight them, and you'd be so shocked what just little things like that can make your videos look 95 times better.
Totally.
So that's a big one is just like watch those videos all over again. Cut the fat. I always tell people that. Cut the fat. Boom, snip it. Look at it and be like, can I take off a second of this?
Totally.
And most of the time they can. And people, a lot of people that I DM with, they might think I'm being an ass, but I'm just trying to like help you.
Totally. Sometimes they need a little tough love.
It's like a lot of the nitpickiness of like cutting the fat of shots. You just lost 15 seconds on the video, and that's a completely different piece of content now that you've cut out those 15 seconds.
Totally.